Hey there YouTube, Logan with Hideaway Homestead coming to you today with a video on poplars and specifically the hybrid poplar and the ways it can save you money on the homestead. Now, as you can probably tell, I sound like I'm sick, and that's because I am. Hopefully my voice won't be so annoying that it makes you get off of the video. I lost my voice yesterday, so I haven't been making videos, but I'm able to talk today, so I figured I'd go ahead and make one and let y'all know a little bit about the hybrid poplar. Now, if you looked at the thumbnail, in that thumbnail, I'm holding two cuttings, and they are 2-year-old cuttings, so you can see like from the first 10 foot of them, they are a little bit bigger, and then the latter 10 foot up above my head is a lot smaller diameter cuttings. Those are 2-year cuttings off of a 4-year-old tree. So you can just imagine the size of these trees once they get up to, 3 to 4 seasons. They're wonderful, wonderful shade producers. If you're looking for planting a silvopasture fast, which just means planting rows of trees to be able to give shade to livestock and to also help promote grass growth, because grass, if it does have some shade, a lot of times will be greener, richer, lusher. The plant's not as stressed as much, so you can get really good grass from giving it some shade, not full shade, but some. So you can use it for that. You can use it to plant around your house for shade, and it's a really quick shade tree, because a lot of your trees that are really good shade trees take a long time to grow, but these poplars are extremely fast. If you plant them in a row, within year 2 or 3, you're getting pretty much full shade from those trees. As they get up into their 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th year, they are just gigantic beings. They're gonna give off a ton of shade. Apart from shade, they can also be used as firewood. Now, with firewood, they're not going to burn as hot as, say, like an oak or an ash or a hickory or black locust. But when you look at the acreage and you look at how much you're producing, you're going to get the same amount or more BTUs per acre with poplar than oak, which just means that they're going to produce more firewood. That means you got to burn more, but it's a super fast way to get firewood. If you're running out of areas where you can cut down dead trees and you want to have a more sustainable firewood source on your property, and you want to do like a coppice system, you could harvest these trees on rotations for your firewood, and you can cut them at any size that you like. So if you want to have some kindling and some larger logs, you can do everything, say on like a 3rd year, and you're going to get like that big around of logs. No splitting. Who doesn't want to have firewood that you don't have to split? You can take all the little limbs and use them as kindling, or burn them if you have too much of it. So super, super awesome firewood plant. Apart from that, they do make a decent fodder plant, which now there's only going to be certain animals that like to eat it. For example, the animal that I have that likes to eat the poplar are the sheep. I had rabbits at one time, and the rabbits really didn't care for the hybrid poplar, which is okay. I've got sheep now, and they like it. Also, it's a good fodder plant for butterflies and songbirds. Now, you would say, why would you say butterflies and songbirds? Because you're, talking about a leaf. Like, you haven't seen many songbirds or butterflies eating leaves, but what it does produce is a lot of caterpillars. So the viceroy butterfly in particular, which is one that gets on my poplars a lot and gets on my willows, will lay their eggs on there, and they'll produce the viceroy caterpillar, and they're a great food source for birds. And of course, they turn into butterflies. The butterflies will drink the sap, to my knowledge. So I mean, there's that. and you're just going to produce a ton of insects, which really, insects, if you look at it, they're the backbone of the homestead, because most people keep chickens, and really you want to have as many insects as you possibly can on your property to bring in that biodiversity, so that way you can get those nice orange rich yolks from your eggs. Anyway, there also could be used as a building material. Not necessarily anything, I wouldn't consider them great for milling, although you could grow them and have them for milling lumber. But they're just an extremely versatile plant, and any kind of like craft projects too, which I don't do many of, they'd be great for that. But they're just great shade, great food, great firewood, and can be used as a building material. There's the cat there. They don't bend as well as the willow, so if you wanted to make like some living structures, it might be a little more difficult, but you can certainly make like A-frames, teepees out of them, and they'd make great shelters for, like, say, sheep or other livestock that are kind of medium sized, to have dotted in the fields to give them some shade, and possibly a place for lambs to, or sheep to lamb in. So anyway, let's talk about why you want to get some of these. And after I do that, we'll go around and we'll look at some of the trees that I've got and the ones that I've just pollarded. But these right here, I'm gonna be selling. This is where the saving money comes in. You're gonna be saving money if you do them for firewood or fodder or any of that other stuff. But I do have several cuttings left over, and I've got some flat rate shipping boxes left over, and I'm wanting to send little 6-inch cuttings. I'm gonna do 25 of them for $20. So if you're interested in getting them, I'll be sending, you know, some larger cuttings and some smaller cuttings. Some, you know, that'll have tip cuttings. Some of them will be a little bit bigger. Some of them will be, you know, large diameter. And the reason that I'll throw in some of the large diameter is because these have a lot of energy in them, and when the plant first starts to root and produce leaves and everything, it's having to use up the energy that's inside of this cutting until it gets the roots, and it can, you know, sustain itself by drinking up water and transpiring through the leaves. So I'm gonna throw in some big ones in there. You know, you'll at least get a couple pretty large ones, and then some medium-sized ones, and some tip cuttings, which the tip cuttings, as you can see, I'll put it up close to the camera here. Hopefully it'll zoom in. I don't think I can hold it still enough, but they're starting to bud out. So this has got to be done now. When this video goes up, I'm going to give it until the weekend, and then everything has to ship Monday. If anybody's interested, that's when it's going to ship. So 25 for $20, pretty cheap. Just, I'd like to see these get used. If not, I'm probably going to let them flower out and give them to the sheep. So let's pause right here and go and check out some of the other trees. Let me grab the camera. All right, so here we have one that I pollarded the other day, and I think I showed this one already in a video, so we're gonna go and look at some of the others too. But I mean, this is a really big tree, and this is like a 4-year-old tree. So you can imagine if you were doing firewood and you had, say, 50 of these trees, and you did them on a 10 at a time, kind of like coppice rotation, and that would mean that you'd come by the, you know, the trees again that you cut the first time. You'd come by them every 5 years. You were talking about a lot of firewood, and I mean, that is just, yeah, that's perfect size right there. And you'd get all the little branches and everything, so be great for that. If you were doing it for fodder and you did like a 2-year rotation, you'd get little limbs like this. And which, now that one there, I want to say is one of the older limbs. It looks like it's got maybe a few more rings than that. I think there's one, this one here looks more like a 2-ringer. It's got the pith in there and then the 2 rings. But you're gonna get, you know, just huge amounts of firewood, or you're gonna get, you know, this size for doing any fodder or anything like that. So here's another one that I pollarded a little higher, and I'm going to come back and cut these little limbs off. But same thing, really big. And this one is actually younger as far as this shoot goes than that tree up there, and it's bigger. So depending on the area, the amount of water that they get and everything, they can have some pretty incredible growth. This one here is probably only 3 years, and it's just gigantic. So yeah, they're very useful, got a ton of uses. And I only mentioned a few things. I do believe that they will also grow, well, I know they will, but I'm trying to think of some of the ones that they'd be good for. But they will grow mushrooms. You could do possibly, I'd say oyster would probably be a good one to be doing on hybrid poplars. You have to look into that just to be sure I'm right. But you think about that, you get some amazing mushroom logs. So you could, I mean, it's basically anything that you can think of that's made of wood can pretty much be made with the hybrid poplar. So anyway, hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully, if you don't already have hybrid poplar on your homestead, you'll consider getting some. And if you do consider getting some, you'll take advantage of getting some cuttings from me. If you want to do that, just email me at hideawayhomestead@gmail.com, and we'll get you set up to get some hybrid poplar going. You'll want to get them if you're, so I'm in North Alabama, and so we're like zone 7. If you're up further north, you got a little more time. But if you're like down further south than me, or you're, you know, right around our area, now is the time. And even if you're up further north, you want to get them in while there's, you know, while the dormant season's going, and you want to get them in fast. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. If you've got any questions or comments, drop those down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. I drop a video like this mostly every day. I appreciate all y'all watching, and we'll see you in the next one.